Good morning. Welcome to the Bond Sunday morning services. Thank you so much for being a part of the service. My name is Jesse Peterson. We are going to open up the phone lines so that if you have any questions concerning the this topic matter for today, you can call 1-800-411-BOND, 1-800-411-2663. And you can also email us, church@bondinfo.org, church@bondinfo.org, and put your name in town, your email, and we can answer your question. They must be about the subject matter of the day, all right? Thank you for tuning in, and good morning to you guys.
Good morning.
Morning. I have been thinking about you guys all week, really all week, because I could not wait to get here this morning to find out if anybody had a life this week. Who remembered the subject from last week? Oh my God, no life. I was waiting because I was sure you're going to have feedback from last week. That is amazing. Nobody remember what we talked about last week? That's absolute mind blowing. Yes, sir.
Well, I got some points.
From last week?
No, I get some points because this morning I realized that before the meeting that I forgot about last meeting. I haven't thought about it at all during the week. So that's points right there.
You know, it's interesting in that God wants you to put these things first. He said, don't think about what you're going to wear, what you're going to eat, who's going to be your friend. You know, think about these things first. You know, desire wisdom, want understanding. And once you get all of that, once you get wisdom and understanding, all this other stuff that you think about will come to you. It belongs to the children of God anyway. And so it is shocking not one person remember what the subject matter was last week. It means that you didn't think about it all week. And I said, make sure you think about this, and when you come back next Sunday, you're going to have some questions. Yes?
Since you asked the same question before, is anybody having any life? Is there anything going on? You know what the funny thing is? Lots of things are going on. But you know what? They come and go. And I don't remember them anymore. As a matter of fact, there are a number of things going on with me during the course of the week.
So that's your excuse for not remembering the subject from last week?
No, that's not an excuse.
Oh.
I'm
too happy.
I said before anyway that I'm amazed myself. How come I don't remember? It's incredible. But as far as yes, there's stuff going on, and you know what? I wish I would remember. I wish I would be able to bring it up now.
Oh, okay.
But I don't remember. I just don't remember.
That's deep. So, nobody remember. Fabian, you don't remember the subject from last week.
No, I don't.
Amazing. Yes.
I wasn't here last week, but Clint said something to the fact of taking words personal.
Affected by words. Remember that dialogue last week?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Now I remember. And I said, watch this week to see if you are affected by words. Because it is abnormal. Remember all that? We had a Holy Ghost meeting last week.
Yes. I remember now.
Oh, now you remember. The whole week had gone by. You've been affected by words all week. Anybody affected by words this past week? You don't know because you weren't paying attention. Huh? All right, well, that's a dead horse. We'll move on to, yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. Although I wasn't here last week. I felt that the destructive power of words was a cornerstone of what we learned here. In a way, I'm surprised a person can forget. Even the best of us can forget and get that. Simply, probably because we're too involved with words to know how effective they are.
You're too involved with them. That's right. You're absolutely too involved with words. You don't stand apart from them, and that's a big mistake. You don't stand apart from them, and you're affected by them. Anybody here affected by words? Yeah. That's abnormal. to be affected by words. And we talked about that last week. I was just waiting to get here today because I knew I was going to have all kind of testimonies about it. Yes, ma'am.
No, I always hear that words are powerful. Is that from you? I know from the other person they're not supposed to mean anything, but
Right.
if they're your own words, I mean, aren't you affected by your own words?
Now, when people say words are powerful, I think they mean that they can make you or break you because you're subject to words, and then they will affect you. But if you're not subject to them, they won't affect you. So I guess that's what they mean when they say words are powerful. And that's why they're trying to ban words. So you can't use certain words because they see that they affect people's lives. But if you ban one word, I'm just going to find another word to use on you because it's easy to react to the next word. I guess that's what they mean when they say words are powerful. Yes, sir.
I thought she was referring to our own words.
Well, that too.
Oh, our own words?
Right.
I don't know what that means.
Like what we say.
Yeah.
What we say- oh, yeah.
someone else.
Careful what you say.
You can condemn yourself. Yeah, you can condemn yourself with words. Because if you speak negative, that's what you're going to bring back to yourself. And a lot of people do that. They get up every day, oh, poor me. You know, why me? Why you treating me this way? You're mean to me. And you're just condemning yourself. I'm no good. You know, yeah. In that way, yes. Life and death is in power of the tongue.
So can you separate yourself from that?
Yes. There's a wordless way of living. And that's what people don't understand. There is a wordless way of living that brings life instead of death. There's no negative involved in it at all, no death. Yeah. Isn't that nice?
Yes.
But it's just quietly hidden away from you. And it goes everywhere you go, but you don't see it that it's with you. Yes. That makes sense?
Yes, it
Yeah,
does.
that makes sense, but I have enough.
Okay.
So,
Since you're the only one remember last week's thing.
okay.
So,
Is it possible that you could be separated from, you know, what people say, but still question them about, you know, why is it they're saying what they're saying?
yeah. Yeah, you could not be affected by it, but ask the person, what are you talking about? Are you
Right.
insane?
Like, where did that come from? and
Yeah,
stuff like that.
exactly. As a matter of fact, you have a responsibility to try to help that person overcome. And if you're questioning them about what they're saying and doing, the intent is and you're hoping that they will wake up to what they're doing and get over it, or what they're saying. You have a responsibility to do that. Not by force, though.
Right.
You know, if they don't want to hear it, then you back off. That makes sense?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
It's not really, is it the word that we're reacting to, or is it the meaning of the word we're reacting to?
The whole deal.
It's the
Because-
meaning, the word has a meaning or an intent behind it.
Let's say that if you already feel that you're no good, right? And then I come along and say, you know what, you're no good, go sit down. And you already feel that way about yourself because you condemn yourself, then that word is going to make you feel that that's true about yourself. That now I see you that way too, and you're going to react to that as well. And so it's just going to add to your demeaning of yourself that you already have.
So you're saying I have word ideas already,
Yeah. Yeah.
ideas,
Yes.
yes.
Which is a sin.
Ideas about myself, ideas that I'm good, ideas that I'm bad,
Yes.
ideas about myself.
Right. And
Right,
that's why you have to dump all ideas about yourself.
yes.
You have to dump them, the good and the bad ones. Because someone will come along and control you with words. And they may not realize what they're doing. Because a lot of times we overreact to people and they think, why are you mad at me? I didn't mean any harm. And I'm just saying something and you're totally overreacting to it. Because you already have this idea about yourself. Do you have an idea about yourself?
Oh, I'm sure I do.
What kind of person are you?
Well, I've got a history, you've got a history in your life. You know what you've done in the past. You know what your inclinations are to do.
Right.
So you know, you have some knowledge about yourself.
But you can have an understanding about that without having an idea about it.
An understanding of it without an idea about it.
Yes.
An understanding that you've done that,
You're right.
but not necessarily a conclusion, you mean?
Right. It could be over. It's something you did then and not now. That makes sense?
Say it again.
It's something that happened then. That doesn't mean it's happening now.
Over the past, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But if you have an idea about it, it reminds you of it. It's like as though it's happening right now. You know,
Even if I have an idea that I'm going to do the same thing that I've done in the past,
it will happen.
then I
Because
will
you
do
shouldn't
what
have
I've
an
done in the
idea.
past.
Yes.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. It's a setup. Isn't that amazing?
Yes.
Life is so nice. Life is something else. if you could just spend 90% of your time discovering and 10% of your time working, you'll have a happy life. Because it is something, I was telling someone yesterday, life is something else. This thing where God said, seek first the kingdom of God and his right way and everything will be added, that's some deep stuff. But when you discover it's so much life into it. And this whole Jesus thing and all that, there's just so much to it, right? That we don't understand. And when we discover this, it is mind-blowing. It blows your afro off. See, I don't have an afro today. I discovered something yesterday. And it just blew my afro away. But and then personally, I cannot understand what you're talking about. But it's in all of us to know if you seek God first. If you just put him first, want to know, want to understand. It is absolutely mind-blowing. There's so much life into it. But there's so many things are hidden from us that we just don't see. And it's amazing. You guys looking too serious for me. Yes.
I have noticed in my life that I've been watching the words in my head, because I've seen the way that if I respond to the words in my head, I will respond to words on the outside from people. But if I,
But you didn't pay attention to that this week.
Yeah, I have been
You
watching
didn't
the
remember
words.
the assignment.
True, but I have been watching the words in my head. Definitely, I've been. I didn't remember your specific instructions.
Right.
But that's helped me a lot, because, in the past I would react to the words in my head, and that would cause me to be real emotional, real reactive to the world.
Right. It will. Words will destroy you because of your relationship with words, whether in your head or from another person.
And sometimes it sounds like me. It will use it's like it's trying to act like me,
Yeah.
but that's just another way for it to try to suck me in. It's like it plays like it's us, but it's not. And
Right.
it's like a trick that it does.
Are you growing beyond that? Because you've known that for a long time, right?
Yeah.
Is there any maturity beyond that?
Yeah.
And
I
what
am
is it?
growing. Yeah.
What is it?
I'm just becoming more of myself. I'm being more honest. I feel like I don't have fear now to do the things that I should do. That I've always had, like changing my career and starting a business. And
Did you change careers?
yeah, I got an interview next week for
Oh.
a different position, getting
Good.
off the road.
No more driving.
Yeah.
No more
I
hiding.
want to get off the road now. Like
He's a driver.
Sooner the better. And I've been doing it for 26 years. And before, that was my cocoon. Now I don't want the cocoon.
Yeah.
I want to grow. I want to be everything that I should be.
The one thing I want you guys and ladies to know, we'll come here, we fellowship, right? And we get clues about life. But I don't want you to grab that and just hold on to it. Let it go. Because there's so much more than what we say here in these meetings. So you have to resist the temptation to hold on to what you learn here. And you shouldn't be learning here. You should be discovering here. I'm the teacher and you're the student, but I should become the student as well. I should be learning from you guys as you're learning from me. I come here not to just teach you, but to learn from you as well. And believe me, I'm learning. I'm learning you guys don't have a life. No, I'm kidding. But no, I'm just kidding. But I'm learning. But I'm learning from you as well. I pay close attention to you, what you say. I really do. Okay, I see a whole bunch of hands, so I have to move fast. Yes, ma'am. You almost did. Okay. Yes, sir.
I noticed yesterday morning a situation where I lost my cell phone while I was out running, and I had to go back and look for it. And at one point I couldn't find it, and then I had this little piece here, this piece that holds the phone to my body, and it came out of my pocket while I was looking for the phone. And it's a brown thing. It's attached to a case, which is a brown case. And the point is that God is showing us things all the time. And I just realized in that, because I didn't pay attention when it came out of my pocket.
Yeah.
But so I was walking around, I was looking for my phone, but I was looking for my phone, which has silver. It's silver. So in my mind, I kind of had a mindset of looking for silver.
Yeah.
My phone is not, what I was actually should have been looking for was my case, which is holding my phone, which is brown. And when the thing came out of my pocket, it was this little brown piece of the case.
Yeah.
And it was a way of God like trying to give me a little clue. Don't look for a silver phone. Look, you didn't drop your phone. You dropped the phone with the case around it.
That's a good point.
You know what I'm saying? So what occurred to me is that this is one little piece that I didn't notice that God was telling me. And I was thinking to myself, how many times is God telling us that? All the time. He's giving us little things he's
Little
putting in
clues.
our lives, and we're just too dense to like see that he's trying to talk to us.
People don't pay attention to the small things. And that's the problem. And the greater lesson in that, you should not be running with a cell phone on you.
Yeah.
God said, leave the cell phone at home if you're going to run. That's the greater lesson. I see people running with cell phones, swimming in the pool with cell phones, having dinner with cell phones, trying to get a date with cell phone. Hey, put the phone down. What did we do before they had cell phones? Before they invented cell phone, did you take the house phone running with you?
I got a long cord.
You can leave the cell phone at the house on the run. Nothing is going to happen that important. If it does, take care of it when you get there. If your wife have a heart attack while you're out running, there's nothing you can do anyway. That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if not necessarily to me, but
It makes sense to run with your cell phone?
yeah, actually it does.
Does that make sense, Lena? There are no calls coming in during running time. Did anybody call you while you're running?
No, but I can use the phone if I want to use the phone.
Oh,
He doesn't
right.
need a cell phone.
Like, hey, Jesse, what's going on? I'm on a run.
It's just an emergency.
No, leave the cell phone. No emergency is going to happen while you're running. Believe me, I promise you that. It didn't happen when we had the house phones where there were no cell phone. You notice that? No emergency ever happened while you're running before they made the cell phone.
On top of it, you got voicemail. So when you get back, you can pick up exactly who called.
I see people texting while running. You ever seen that? Texting while they have a texting contest now. I was telling Scott about that the other day. White people are so smart. Wherever there's an opportunity to make money, they'll do it. Now texting is a big event. You had all these people sitting around the stadium, these guys having a contest, trying to see who can do it the fastest. And this one guy won $50,000 because he was the fastest. I'm like, wow, why couldn't I have thought of that? It was like being at a tennis game. So white people are smart. That's why I hang out with white folks. They know how to make the money. But leave your cell phone at home while you're running and swimming. It's okay. I don't bring my cell phone to the meetings at all. If anybody need counseling between now and 12:30, if they can't hold out, they just have to die. There's a long bridge at the end of the road, you know. Yes, sir.
I think what people are trying to avoid is the dang answering machine. If if you don't have your cell phone with you at all times, you get behind. And then all those messages you got to listen to.
Isn't that insane? That's how you think about your phone,
Yeah.
huh?
You try and stay ahead of those messages that'll pile up.
That's how the mind works. The devil is always getting us involved in something. I don't want to hang out too long on this. Any other questions? I saw some more hands somewhere. Yes, sir.
I was going to say, this topic is so relevant to me right now because in like the last 15 years, all these things that I judged, even my whole life, it's like I have to go through them now. It's like all my opportunities are towards those things I judged with words and ideas.
Yeah.
And so now I'm submerged in them.
Yes, sir.
I get like practical moves for me.
Yeah.
For all these things I resisted with ideas and words, and now it's just this opportunity for me to do what I didn't do before
Yeah.
and find out who I am within that environment.
Yeah.
And I see that if I resist it in that way with words and ideas about myself and about other people that's not true,
Yeah.
then I'm stuck. And it's a strange blessing that could easily be a curse by how I look at what's going on in my life.
So you're so involved in judging that,
I was.
right? Are
And I feel
overcoming
like
that?
I have to go back and visit or go be around the people and things that I judged.
Oh, I see. So in the past, you judged everybody and everything,
Yeah.
and you got stuck in that mode of judging. Now that you're starting to wake up, you feel you need to go back to see if you're still judged, or do what?
It's not, I don't feel like it's really me going, making that choice to go back there, because if I had my way, or the way of my thoughts and my feelings, I wouldn't do it.
You wouldn't go back.
No, I would.
You wouldn't judge, or you wouldn't go back to the people you've judged. I'm not getting it. I'm dumb. I'm black.
Well, I'm just saying that,
Pat, you understand what he's saying? Pat is my
Not
helper.
yet.
Pat is the Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit, you get it?
Keep going.
yeah,
I'm not getting it.
I had real specific ideas for what I thought my life was going to be. What I
Right.
thought my life was going to be.
I understand that.
And all my ideas.
Yeah.
And I made a point of, and a lot of those ideas were also judging other people and maybe careers. And now I find myself in those things that I was judging, maybe because I was drawn to them, because I was judging them. But that's where I am. So now I feel like I'm confronting myself and having to find out who I am without those ideas and words. But if you don't understand, I do. So
No, I'm just listening.
so-
I look like I don't understand.
I don't know. Well, you said it earlier, but I don't know if you do or not. But it's relevant to me what we're saying.
Yeah, I'm glad. They're about to call me to drink. You understand what he's saying?
Well, I realized listening to him that kids don't go through all this mess.
No, do you
Tim,
understand what he's saying?
I do not. I mean, I sort of lose interest after.
Because I want
a
to
little
help him.
bit. Yeah, I just kind of space out, lose interest, because I realize kids don't have all this stuff that they're trying to overcome and all this. They just solve it simply, like my nephew did yesterday. He did this wrong to his brother. He twisted his arm behind his back because his brother made him mad. And then he realized that was wrong, an overreaction, and he just badgered his brother, apologizing to, come on, I'm sorry, come on,
Can they help him?
and they don't get caught in all this mumbo jumbo that you're trying to figure out in the head of my career and all that. They just do. And then and when they do wrong, they just apologize, and then they're done.
Did that help? Let me, just for the sake of time, you're saying that you realize that your whole life you had an idea how your life should be, including your career. And so you've looked at other people and tried to emulate them or create a career like them or a life like theirs. And now you realize that that's wrong or that's not working.
And no, I wasn't saying that. But,
This young lady has it.
I think, I'm not sure, but I think you used to judge people and their careers and their life, the way
Just everything.
everything, the way their
Right.
life was. And now you find that you are what you judged.
right.
You became what you judged, and now you have to
Live that.
live it
And not
without judging
resent
it, without hating it, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you have to live that life that you created from judging. You got to live it now without hating it.
Right.
Oh, okay. And how are you doing that? How are you living that life without hating it?
I just take, one step at a time and do what I have to do or do what seems right.
Are you overcoming it?
Yeah,
Is it something that you want to overcome?
definitely.
No, okay.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm not being clear. Like I said, a lot of, I have issues with speaking up, so,
Well, I'm glad you're saying it. Don't worry about how you look.
yeah,
Don't worry that we're thinking this guy's really insane.
right.
What in the world? No, I'm kidding. Don't worry about what we're going to think about it. This is where you speak up about it. All right?
So, I made my attempt to speak up, but, I didn't articulate well enough.
And it may come clear to you later how to explain it. At least you bring it to the forefront.
Right.
So don't let that shut you down. All right? Anybody else? Yes, ma'am.
My problem with words is like I kind of know what's wrong with me, but I don't like to hear people tell me. I already know it, I don't need you to tell me.
You already know it, huh? But if you already, okay, yeah, you're right. You already know it, but do you resent knowing that about yourself?
Yeah.
And that's why words affect you then. When people tell me things about myself, and if it's true, it doesn't bother me because I already know me. I'm pretty messed up, right? And so when people say it, I'm okay with it. Like, yeah, that's right. So tell me something I don't know about myself. And that way the words don't hurt because I see that they're telling the truth. I don't resent what I see about myself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you got to stop resenting what you see about yourself so that if someone brings it up, it doesn't bother you. That makes sense? Yeah. Resentment is of the devil. It is painful. It's a painful existence. You got to let go of all your resentment. By the way, the number if you want to call in is 800-411-BOND, 800-411-2663. Or you can text email at church@bondinfo.org. church@bondinfo.org. Yes, ma'am.
It seems to me, as Stephanie said, that I see the same thing in me because that's like my biggest problem. It's like the core of everything that's wrong with me is just I hate the truth. I hate everything. I grew up, hating reality. Really,
You hate the truth and you hate the lie, huh?
Yeah. What? Say that again.
You hate the truth and you hate the lie.
Yeah. But I was going to say one of the things I see is I'll hear these words in my head and then I'll start analyzing them. Why those words? Why is that? And that's another trick to get you involved.
But you have heard over and over again not to listen to words in your imagination, haven't you?
Yes.
Why you keep doing it?
I don't know.
You don't know
I
what?
think I can give you an answer that my thought words say you're a bad person, you're this, you're that. I just really don't know.
Are you a bad person?
I don't know.
Yeah, okay. Yes, sir. I'll come back to you, bad person, in a minute.
Okay.
You just said a moment ago that you're all messed up.
Yes.
Can you elaborate on that?
You want to know how I'm all messed up?
No, because let me tell you the reason why.
I don't mind
No,
telling you if you want to know.
No, you know, I mean, I'm not around you every day.
Right.
You know, I just come here on Sunday.
No, I'm pretty messed up.
But, you know.
I am all messed up.
Yeah, because I can't see that at all. I can't see that.
Ain't that nice?
I can't see that you are.
I'm all messed up. Yeah.
I can't see that.
You think I'm not messed up?
No, you have to correct. I
You
don't
think
you're
I'm not messed up?
Yeah.
And you do too?
Yeah.
You guys are insane. The preacher's messed up too. Look at Pat, amen to that. Let me tell you how messed up. I absolutely realize of myself I can do nothing. I don't trust myself. I don't trust that thing that's made a home in me, that not me, because it comes and tries to talk. I realize that I don't know anything. Every decision that I come out to try to make on my own, it messes my life up. It's like I'm nothing. I'm really nothing. I'm just nothing. And I can't trust me. So what I've done is to try to understand what's going on so I can live by the one that guides my life. Because if I put it out there, I'm gone. I'm a goner. I'm
but you
weak
don't-
and insecure when I trust that.
I don't see you living this way.
Right, because I'm letting this other one guide me.
Yes.
I can't trust me to guide my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I see.
Right, well, that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But see, I see that about myself, and I don't resent seeing that about myself. I'm glad to see that about myself so I can live this other life.
Yeah.
So I have to watch myself, I have to pray, I have to be aware so that I don't drift off into la-la land. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
That makes sense?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's why I'm telling you guys you got to do the same thing. I'm no different than you, except that right now I'm seeking the other way.
Yes.
But I would be out there in la-la land too, if I trusted me, myself. I'm all messed up. Yes.
I have something on this sort of cell phone being affected by words topic.
Yes.
I guess I have the problem of not paying close enough attention to my cell phone when it rings anyway, and it's usually my parents, and they get frustrated with it, understandably. So I was driving to the gym the other day, and it's only like a 5-minute drive, and I don't really get service on the way there. But when I got to the gym, the person there, said, sort of like signaled the person working at the desk that he was on the phone with someone. He's like, oh, call your dad at home or something. I thought that was kind of weird. So I called him at home on the phone there, and, he just said, started sort of yelling at me like, you didn't answer your phone, but just like really, like he didn't like really communicate any message to me except like, sort of criticizing me for not answering my phone, but it was like, why did you want me to call you at home if, you're going to say all this? But I actually wasn't as affected as I thought I would be by,
Was it an emergency?
It wasn't.
Was it an emergency?
No, he wanted to tell me when one of my appointments was. But I saw that, I guess I wasn't affected because I saw that it wasn't personal.
Right, good.
Yeah, he was just, angry with sort of like outer circumstances, but.
Did you tell him that's ridiculous, that you're angry about this?
I didn't at that point because, last week I sort of asked you about the difference between like suppressing my anger and reacting to it. And, I'm not really sure when it would be a reaction and that kind of thing. But I didn't think it was appropriate at that point because he was really angry, like very angry. And so I thought that, I was just going to make him react more and what was the point. And I didn't want to react back. So I just kind of listened and then he hung up anyway. And I mean, the guy that, had me calm was like, oh, is everything okay? Is there an emergency? Like that kind of a thing.
That's another thing the cell phones have done. They have caused everything to be an emergency. Now, if someone don't answer the phone when you call them, you're cursing them out. Why didn't you answer your phone? Like you're stuck on the side of the road or a hurricane is coming or something. But people yell at you and scream at you because you don't answer your phone. Have you noticed that? Anybody ever done that to anybody? And it's about nothing. But when we had landline phones only, you had to wait until that person called back. Isn't that true?
Yes.
And I think that's terrible that he yelled at you like that. And you need to correct that when it happens.
Right.
You say, Pops,
Yeah.
calm down. This is not an emergency.
Yeah, and I don't know when he, like, I've just been seeing him act silly like that, and it makes me resent him, and I'm trying not to judge him, but I see myself judging him all the time when he
Yeah.
repeatedly does things like that. I do try to communicate it to him.
Yeah, you need to speak up more about it.
Yeah,
Really, because if you don't, you're going to suppress it and anger is going to come out.
yeah.
You got to speak up. You got to tell your dad, Dad, you're overreacting.
You're
You need-
acting silly kind
Yeah.
of thing, and like
You
it doesn't
have
really
to.
matter when I do it.
It doesn't matter.
It does, okay.
Yeah.
Because that, I don't know, that has been bothering me when he
Yeah,
acts.
you got to while at home is when we should work out all these issues, as many as possible. Because if we can work them out with our parents, it's going to be easy out in the world. And that's what the parents are. They're our teachers. So
Right.
I would advise you, now that you're home, until you go back to school, I would try to get all this stuff worked out while I'm with my parents. Does it make sense to be yelling about Forrest? Does it make sense that you were upset that she didn't answer her phone and it wasn't an emergency? Does that make sense? First of all, is it true? I shouldn't just take her word about it. Were you upset and yelling because she didn't answer the phone?
Well, this was all precipitated by, I'm down working from like 7 in the morning, and I got 2 or 3 other people up in the house unconscious till about 10 or 11 when they decide to get up. And I'm down there with a cell phone only that doesn't work too well, and I need some form of communication because I've got some problems that have arisen, and I'm calling 4 different phones and I get no answers. I call her phone 4 times. She's backing out of the driveway and I'm calling her. She should have her phone on. I mean,
Why?
I should.
Yeah, she shouldn't.
Look, you live a disorganized life. I like mine organized. You know what I mean? I'm not, in other words,
Okay,
you
you
need,
can have an organized life, but you can't organize her life with your life.
well, then she can start paying rent.
That's amazing. Pay rent, and that's your freedom, pay rent. And that's the problem living with other people as an adult. They respect,
She
they
should
say-
help us out. She should have the spirit of let's help out here.
But she can't organize her life around your life.
No,
Just because
she can't
maybe
do
she
that.
wanted an unorganized life.
Just turn the phone on, okay? Just flip the button
No,
on.
so,
No, I think what happened was, the phone was on vibrate or it didn't ring because we don't get service around our house.
but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. Well,
The
especially when I
point
go to
is,
the
do you
gym,
think-
I leave my phone in the car anyway. I don't
Yeah.
bring it into the gym because,
Same here.
yeah.
Do you think you were right for being angry at her for not having her phone?
There's no reason to be angry over all of those little
So why do you do it?
mini incidences.
Why do you do it? Are you joking about it or are you serious?
I'm serious.
You can't be angry at somebody else's life. I mean, that is judgment. That is God all the way. This is an adult person now. She has her own life. And did she sign a promissory note that says, once I get my phone, Dad, I'm going to organize my phone around your life? Did she have that kind of agreement with you?
Yeah.
He's laughing himself.
Can give her a message.
That's,
She normally is pretty good about it. I was frustrated this particular morning
so
because
were you wrong?
everyone else is on vacation, surfing, laying on the beach.
Were you
I'm
wrong?
working.
It's
Yes.
affecting your
Yeah, I
daughter.
was-
Even though we're laughing about it, it is affecting her.
And it affects people all around you when you let out your anger in that way. You get, I guess you get over it right after that moment. You forget about it. But, like, if the people don't know how to deal with it properly, like including, my mother, then they're, that remains, they're affected by it. It doesn't just go away. And
Yeah.
you don't want to be putting that kind of energy into the world. It's just really negative. It's like thinking you're God and,
Yes.
if someone,
The thing about it, for us, as the father of your children and the husband of your wife, you have a higher calling, and if what she's saying is true, than what you're displaying. What fathers do to their children affects their souls. It's not just a joke. it affects their life, and your daughter is trying to work the stuff out with you, and if you're not on board with her, trying to get an understanding why she's feeling that way and to show her how to overcome it, you're causing damage to her life. And she's going to go out into the world and become attracted to a man just like you, and life and hell will continue. Your role is not just a joke in life. When your kids are complaining like this, they're doing it because they're crying out for help from their father. It's not something that you could just brush off and say, oh, whatever, your life is unorganized. You got to take it a little more serious than that, because you are blessed in that you have an opportunity to do it while she's home. She's going to be leaving again soon. And you want to know with confidence that I've been the best father I could be with my daughter. She's out in the world. I want to have laid foundations that she can live by, not be deceived by other men, not being affected by her friends, not worried about life because she has confidence in her father. But if you leave home angry and resentful at the father, she's going to catch hell out there in the world. The father is not a joke. And she's crying out for help from you right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
What do you think about that?
makes sense.
Yeah, it's not just a little plaything. Our battle is a spiritual battle. And the devil, we may be laughing at it, but it's hurting our children, it's hurting other people. And men have to be careful as to how they react to the world around them. Now, some things we're not supposed to be tripping out and all, but we have to be cautious of how we treat our children, our wives, our environment, because of who we represent on earth. Yes.
I was just gonna say, I don't want to resent my dad. It's painful,
know.
it hurts, and I can see that it's a burden, and it's, I know that he might not change, but, I don't want
Yeah.
to be weighed down by my resentment.
Yeah. And I can see you hurt too. You, how old are you now?
21.
You're 21. You are an adult now, and you're going to have to find it in your heart to realize that he can't help himself. He would like to do right if he could, if he saw to do right. And he can't. So in the moments that he's weak, you have to see him for what he is and forgive him. Let it pass. Speak up about it, but don't hold it against him so God can free you up from that. Because you're right, he may not ever change. And your changing is not dependent on whether he changes or not. God is, he said that once we become an adult, then we're responsible for our own action. So in reality, you are responsible.
Mm-hmm.
And he may not participate. But you have to forgive him, see that resentment, allow yourself to feel it, but let it pass. And then if he never changes, you still can have a relationship with him. Because after a while, that resentment is going to become so strong that you're going to start avoiding him.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get married, you won't let the kids come and play with him and all that kind of stuff. And you don't want to get to that point. And you
Right.
will get to that point if you don't forgive him. That makes sense?
Yes.
Yeah. So while you're home, take advantage of that. Be honest with him, speak up to him, feel what you feel, but let it go. And then you'll leave free. He may not change. Because he can have a set idea in his head how things should be and not really growing from that. He may not be discovering how things should be, but he's doing the best that he can do. He's operating with the information that he has.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think he wants to be like this.
No, I know
I
he
know
doesn't.
he wants to be good.
I know him well enough to know that he doesn't.
Right.
Sometimes when you get that age, it's just hard. But he doesn't want to be that way, that's for sure. And if you could just realize that, it will help you to forgive him.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Then I'll come to you, John.
Doesn't it come down to fathers spend a lot of their time trying to make money and get things done, in the family?
Yeah.
They have a business and they're trying to get things done. These things that seem very important,
Yeah.
and you
And
get
you're right.
focused on it.
It is a father's responsibility to provide for his family, but he also has a responsibility to be spiritually there for his children.
That's right, but
Because that's where the hurt is.
It turns into a different circuit, because you're on the get things done circuit,
Right.
and then you got this other circuit on another frequency, which is slow down, listen
Yeah.
to what your children, don't have to make it an important, it's a whole different kind of thing.
That's right. I was talking to my youngest brother the other night, and he grew up with my father. And there were some of us who did not grow up with him, and they got all kind of issues about wanting more of my dad, right? And they are thinking that my younger brother is really close to him. And so I called up my younger brother and I said, do you have any issues with my dad? He's like, oh, yeah, maybe one. I said, well, what is that? He said, I wish that my father and I were closer. And I was shocked to hear him say that. Because I've had this impression too that they were closer because they grew up together. And for some reason, I just thought they were closer. And I said, well, have you ever said that to him? And he said, no, I never said that. And kids reach out. They inwardly, spiritually, they need that spiritual connection, that love with their fathers. That's what's missing. And that's what Kelly is crying out for. She needs a spiritual connection with her father. But she may not get it from the earthly father, but if you can forgive him, realize that he's doing the best that he can do, then God will, once you forgive him, God will cause you to forgive him. Then God will cause you to spiritually connect with him. And it will feel as though you have a father. It will feel as though nothing is missing in life. And that's what this battle is all about, reconnecting with the Father. And that's what kids are upset about. They don't care about the money. They care about that spiritual disconnection that they have with their fathers. Boys and girls, men and women, of all races. It's not a race thing, it's a spiritual thing. What is missing is that spiritual disconnection from Father. But if you can forgive him, and God will forgive you, he will cause it to come together. And your dad will still be the same. My dad is the same man, same old person. But I love him. I don't feel like anything is missing, and I don't feel like I need him because I'm fulfilled now. I love the Father. And that's why you gotta, while you're home, work that out. And don't expect anything from him. He's given all that he can give. It has to come from you. That makes sense?
Yes.
Does that help a little bit?
It helps a lot.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
When you said before, Forrest, when the conversation was going on about the cell phone, and that,
Well, you don't need to say
and
the
I'm
name.
sorry,
Kelly.
Kelly,
You
I'm
don't necessarily
sorry.
have to say her name. Just say your daughter or
And
something.
when Kelly said that, and she didn't answer the phone, they were upset. And in the course of this conversation, you said, well, then you go pay rent. You know, that was mean. That was really mean of you to say that to your daughter. Because she didn't listen to the phone, I mean, she didn't answer the phone and this and that and whatever the conversation was, but it was really mean, Forrest. You say that to your daughter.
Yeah. Do you ever yell at your son about not answering his phone?
No,
You never yell at him.
no, he yells at me
He yells at
for not
you.
answering the phone. Yes,
What do
sir.
you mean for not answering the phone?
Like your dad
No,
called
it's
you.
when- I don't
When I
yell.
get cut off, when I get cut off from the, well, actually, when I try to call him or something like that, I can't remember the exact
Does
details.
he ever yell at you when you don't answer the phone when he calls?
Well, I have to.
Yes or no first? And
Yes.
Then he does.
Yes.
So your father just said he didn't. He doesn't. He hasn't.
Well, in the distant past, he used to.
Yell at you like that.
Yes.
And how did you feel when he would yell?
Correct.
How would you feel like it?
Well, I felt kind of unfairly treated.
Unfairly treated. Yeah, it is unfair.
Mhm.
Absolutely unfair.
Right.
It's amazing what parents do to the children. A lot of them don't know that they're doing it. You know, I know you want to do right with your son. But that's why you gotta seek God first so you can understand the spiritual aspect of life and what you're doing. You gotta see what you're doing. It's like we're lost in the darkness and don't see what we're doing. And that's the problem. That's why people have to wake up. They need a revival. People need to wake up. Oh, and I want to ask you about Jesus in a minute. That's what I wanted to ask you about. And I didn't know that this was going to go on this long. But people got to wake up. People are asleep and they're damaging other folks that don't know it because they can't see what they are doing. Even in the name of Jesus, they don't see what they're doing. And kids are hurting. They ain't got nothing to do with racism. It has nothing to do with money. It's a spiritual thing. Because if you're spiritually satisfied, you don't miss money. You know, it's dumb to think you miss money. You're missing that love of a father. That emptiness is due to that. The resentment, the anger that you have. That's what it's all about. Let me take the young man behind you and then I'll come. Yes, sir.
Thank you, the young man. I don't think it's so much about money with Forrest. I think there's a self-righteousness in kind of the way he's been taught from other people that he's respected the people he's respected tend to be very blunt and truth-telling, quote-unquote.
Yeah.
And so he's living that life that he believes he's living that same life. But what he doesn't understand is those people that he respects don't have, they've let go of the meanness in their heart, so they're able to do it with love.
Yeah.
Where he's doing it with the words, but he still has the unforgiving heart, and that's what's messing it all up for him.
And Kelly, do you understand that?
Yes.
You do understand that?
Yes.
That he mean well, he learned the truth, but he haven't discovered the truth. So he's operating with what he has.
Right.
I understand that when you're kids, it's hard to understand that, but now you're becoming an adult, it's time to start understanding that way.
Right.
You know. Yes, ma'am.
I disagree a little bit with what Martin said, about kids just being able to, like, apologize, because it actually can be that easy for adults too. Just start new, and fortunately, I don't have a very good memory anymore, so you can start. And I've been more patient in the last 3 or 4 weeks than I've been in my life. And so I mentioned last time at the end of the meeting that, when you see somebody out of control or doing something so negative, it's almost laughable. I mean, you look at them like you're thinking.
Well, you can only do that if you have no resentment in your heart at all. If you have no anger. So if she forgives her father completely and he's overreacted, it would be funny. It was like looking at a movie or something.
Right, but I'm just saying
Comedy.
for me, I'm not talking
Yeah.
about for her. But it's, in a way, it's really good to be able to do that, to kind of start, fresh. And there was one time that I had a real bad thing with my daughter, and I apologized, because I saw, what the words had done. But,
Yeah.
I was able to separate myself from, the situation. And really, it's almost been a month now that I can see that, and I just, I'm not even reacting to it. I'm actually not saying anything about it, like I'm not sticking up or saying anything about it. It's not really affecting me very much.
Yeah.
I've noticed a change in my mom
Yeah.
recently.
You got it. I mean, as parents, we have a we owe it to our children to be the best person that we could be of love and compassion. We owe that to our children. But if you don't see what's going on with yourself, you're not going to be able to do it. And that's where the problem is.
For years
People,
you've been saying that, being able to overcome my husband it's actually a good thing.
Yes.
That's what's going to make me well, and that's exactly right. See, the kids can go out and, they don't have to come back if they don't want to,
Right.
but, so I don't feel like I'm trapped. I'm thinking, okay, this is my opportunity. This is how I'm going to, just, separate from the situation and just look at it and see how ridiculous, ridiculous, sometimes it's sad, but ridiculous that it is.
yeah. The important thing, though, is, and I keep going back to this because if you can forgive, then God will forgive you, and He will give you a clean heart. And so when you see a person suffering, you have compassion for that person. Because you can also, and not that you're doing this, but you can separate from a person, yet judge that person. You can train yourself not to react, but you still have that judgment there, and that will still create a problem for you. God wants you to have compassion for the person so that you can hopefully help them overcome the issue. Because we represent Him on earth, and we need to have that love. Because a lot of folks just don't know what they're doing. They absolutely cannot see.
And I see that during meditation. I mean,
Yes.
it's like, okay, when I do kind of go through something that I'm seeing, so hopefully that will come more and more.
Stay with the prayer, and it will. Just stay with it. Yes, ma'am.
In this situation, I of course identify with this young girl, but because I had a father that was very mean, let's say just dysfunctional, whatever. But what I'm trying to understand why, I understand why she would want more from a father, but let's say he's not a father, let's say he's just a man that was nasty to her. Is it that the reason she got upset is because she has an ego? Is that why you get upset? Because you have an ego and you think how dare somebody talk to me like that? I don't deserve that.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's all comes back to
To ego.
getting rid of the ego.
Very good.
That's right.
We can take up tithe and offering. We can take up tithe and offering and go home. You're absolutely right. She developed this ego as a child from resenting her parents first. You know, she started to develop it because no one was there to say, hey, don't resent it. You know, yes, the parent is wrong, but don't resent it. So she started to, this is how kids are recreated in the image of their parents. She started to resent the situation and develop this ego. Now that she's an adult, she take it personally when her father is overreacting because it is hurting her pride. It's all about her ego, and that's why if she can forgive him, then the ego would start to die, and the father would carry out the same act, but it would not affect her at all.
So if she will see herself rise up, say, to get angry, but the anger, if you stop the anger, or you look at the anger, not stop it, but you watch it,
Yes.
and it diminishes, that will diminish her ego.
Yes, ma'am. The ego lives off of anger and judgment.
That's the link.
Yes.
There's no other link.
No.
Just anger.
Yes.
Just anger.
Yes, ma'am.
But another thing
And
comes
the ego
in.
is the consciousness of the physical body.
Mhm.
It makes you feel and think and act out. It's the consciousness or the unconscious state, whatever you want to say. But it's the consciousness of the physical body, so it judges everything around it to stay alive. Keep you angry.
And just watching it is enough.
Just watching
Just
it is
watching
enough. That's all you can really do. You watch it by speaking up when you need to, but you watch it. And you're watching your ego. It's God's love or his light shining into the darkness. And the light will destroy the darkness. Because the ego, the pride, is of the devil, of the prince of darkness. So if you just watch it, it will be destroyed. It cannot live in the light.
Okay, and then one other thing comes to my mind. When you said a child, when a child is growing and they get mad and they're building up their egos, sort of, you know, you don't want to suppress that anger,
No.
though. How?
No, as a child, you know, and you kindly say, hey, don't get angry. But don't try to suppress their ego. Because they kind of need it. They need it for a while.
Yeah.
They need it so that they can come together as husband and wife. They need it for exterior motivation.
Yeah.
But when they become adult is when they start to get rid of it. So don't suppress it. Don't say, oh, you're such a little ego-going little kid. Say, you know. Your little ego is on the run. No, they need it. But you're supposed to be a living example and kind of a reminder. Don't get so into your anger.
But what if
Don't-
a little child, two little kids are playing and you could see one's getting angry,
Right.
and they say, "Don't get angry." Well,
Well, you won't say it like that if you're coming from the right place.
uh-huh.
You would talk to them the way that your father would talk to you. You know, why are you so angry about it? You know, he would give you the words to say. Because you can traumatize your kids by jumping on it like that.
Right.
That's why you need to be born again so you can see how to deal with your kids. If you try to learn how to deal with them, you're going to mess them up. I know people who have learned about anger and resentment, and they adopt it on their kids, and the kids are all messed up now. Because it came from the intellect, from the ego mind instead of the spiritual mind.
Okay.
Yeah. So
excuse me.
No, go ahead.
Well, when you said before, you said that you're messed up and that it's because you see that you can't do anything for
Yes.
yourself.
Right.
You got rid of your ego then.
It's dying every day.
It's dying.
Yes, ma'am. It's dying because I can now see. And it's not me that's seeing, it's God who causes me to see. You know, he's shining the light so that I can see. And he is destroying my ego with every situation.
And so when you look around at everybody, do you just see a bunch of ego?
Yes, ma'am.
A bunch of
Egomaniacs.
Egomaniacs.
I'm going to make a song. Is there a song called Egomaniac yet? Done, write a song, Egomaniac. I see a bunch of egos.
Is that what you see? Like people just thinking, I'm great, I'm great.
Yes.
You're great, you're
Without,
great. Just,
without even being aware that that's what they're thinking. Yeah,
that
because
must be so interesting.
it is. when I'm on the phone counseling with people and they're screaming about what someone has done to them or said to them, all I hear is ego.
Yeah.
All they're saying is, this person hurt my ego and I just can't believe it. Well, I'm going to get them. You know, they're just feeding their ego. That's all it's about. And there's no compassion, no love. It's all ego screaming.
Yeah.
When a wife wakes up in the morning mad about nothing, and the man is like this, all asleep and having a sweet dream, and she's laying there looking at him. And then he wakes up and she's like, why are you smiling in your sleep? She's saying, you know what, you're up here resting and my ego is on the run. And you need to care about that. But it's all ego. That's why God said we must be born. We must be born again. He said you got to lay down the life in order to receive life. And you got to die from that ego, dark-driven life that you have. There is no you. There is no you.
But you have confidence and you...
In that ego?
It's coming, no, you drop it. I think that's the fear. I think the fear is that if you drop your ego, you're nothing, and you won't be able to speak up, and people will step on you. And
Right. That's another lie that comes from the ego. As a matter of fact, with the ego, you're nothing. You're absolutely nothing. If you want to become something, then you need to return to your Creator. Then you will become something. And in that, it's not you, it's Him that's working through you. Now, if you really, ego people are nothing. They're nothing. A bunch of dung. Everybody know what dung is?
Yes.
Horse manure. That's what dung is, I think. Or cow manure. That's all it is. It's all ego-driven, nothing kind of. That's why God just let you die off and make another one. He doesn't have a funeral. He doesn't care that you're dying off. He let the dead bury the dead. All the ego people are burying the next ego person. And He's creating a new life in hope that they'll get it right. That's all He's doing while you're hooping and hollering over a dead ego. Isn't that amazing? It's nothing. Your ego is not worth anything but death. That's all it's about. And you're working hard to keep it alive, and it's killing you anyway. Isn't that amazing? You know what's so amazing about this? I can see this. Really, that's what's amazing about it. Because before I could not see it. I didn't know all this was going on with me. And I just didn't know it because I could not see. Isn't that amazing? You're on a roll today. God bless you. You have a life. You're absolutely 100% correct.
I've been seeing a lot more things.
You've been seeing.
Yeah.
Right on. And just stay there. Let it happen. Let it unfold. Yes, sir.
I have a question that's more aimed toward Forrest. If Kelly called you,
Ain't that who? I don't want you to aim at Forrest anymore.
Okay.
Just about you now. Let's move on to you.
Okay, fine.
Leave poor Forrest alone. Forrest, did you leave your gun at home today? Did you leave your gun at home? Don't pull it out on this guy.
It's in the car.
Okay. Very well. Then this question concerns what we discussed about. Even if we were able to do everything right, have our own lives organized, would that make us any better than we are?
No. You'll still be no good.
That's perhaps what we should fight these challenges and mistakes. We're given the free of the fail force. The only way we can really grow up.
No. An organized life is still a messed up life.
Yeah.
Really. It's because most people organize their physical life because they're so messed up on the inside. And they just figure, if I can just organize everything around me. If everybody's on their cell phone, turn your cell phones on. And when I call, answer them. I need you. My organized life has to be in order. If you want an orderly life, you got to let go of the organized life. Then you can have an orderly life. Everything's done by God and through Him. I don't even like organized people.
I'll give it.
A real dear and close friend of mine used to have an organized life, and I couldn't stand him Because if you mess up a little thing in his little organized life, he's going to curse you out. Why are you touching my stuff? This is how I do it. I'm like, This is not going to work. You got, and now that doesn't mean you let your life just go astray. I hope you understand that, right? But most people are organizing their lives because they're so unorganized within. It's an ego-driven organization. Isn't that amazing? The ego is something else. That's why God wants us to let it go. It is not healthy.
Yes. I'd like to give a small example, then I'll keep quiet. When I,
You promise?
Okay.
No, I'm sure.
Okay. Anyway, when I went bowling, when I threw the ball out, it almost went on the gutter, went into the gutter. But to my amazement, it bounced off the gutter and hit it, and knocked half the pins off. I guess this was God's way of saying that we should never try to take even our fun as serious. See, just take things as they are, or go. Take things that are, enjoy the moment.
That's right. Let the pinball hit the gutter.
Yes.
Let the ball go in the gutter. It's okay. You're right. Very good example. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're talking about ego and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, being nothing. You know, lots of people are terrified to be nothing. Their identity is such they couldn't possibly stand to be nothing.
Do you feel that way too?
I used to.
Yeah. You're right about that. When you have like that quiet moment, you ever had that quiet moment when nobody's calling, the kids are gone, you're home alone, and all of a sudden you feel like nothing. You feel like you're not important. You feel like just a bunch of nothing. And you work so hard to be something, right? And here comes this quiet moment, going to tell you that you are nothing. Now you're thinking about calling Aunt Mary, Uncle Joe, your worst enemy. And then when you call them up, you hang up and wonder, why did I call that person? I don't even like that person. But your ego cannot handle feeling like nothing. That's such a good point. That's why people they have text messages now, cell phones and everything. I notice that when I get on the airplane, before people can sit down for a moment to say hi to the person next door, they're on their computers. Or they're on the phone. Not a moment of quietness to realize you're nothing. Your ego cannot handle being alone. It has to die if it's alone. And anybody ever had that? It is painful. You call up, like the first thing you want to do is call up Uncle Joe. You make a long distance call unnecessarily to run away from that death feeling. You're absolutely right. You got to let yourself feel that way.
What happens is, an identity has formed around your ego.
That's right.
And that's you.
Yeah.
And you don't want to give up you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yet you have to.
If you want to live.
But that's the way really life really is.
Yeah. That's right.
You know.
I want to ask you a question, but let me go to Kelly first, and I'll come back to you. Yeah.
I was just going to say that I notice, when I'm at college, at school and class, people can't even just sit there and take notes because most people take notes on their computer, but they're on at least 3 or 4 different websites at once, checking their mail, talking to people that are in the class online on IM, catching up on celebrity gossip, shopping.
Yeah.
Like actually shopping while they're in class. 3 or 4 different things, and then they'll, take a note or two and just like, how much are you paying for your education?
Just imagine what's going to happen in the future when these young people become adults and they have not overcome that ego. They've kept it alive by being so unconscious. You're going to say one word to them and they're going to shoot you. Yeah. What do you mean? Like, hi, how you doing? Why are you saying hi to me? They're not going to be able to handle anything because they're not dying from the ego at all. They're totally feeding it by staying unconscious, unaware of it. Absolutely. I see it all the time, folks. We're in trouble here. Absolutely in trouble. Did you have your hand, Mr. Cameraman? No, you didn't? Oh, okay. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
You said yourself that this ego self that you have, totally untrustworthy.
Yes.
You cannot trust this.
Yes.
You cannot trust it with heavenly information.
Yes.
It will find a way to twist that around
Sure
or
will.
use it for its own purpose.
Yeah.
Now,
You can't talk back to it or anything.
Where does, and yet you're asking, are you asking for the ego to let itself go?
We be asking.
Well, you know how you say you need to let go of that?
Yes,
That
die
is-
from the ego.
Right, but if the ego is treacherous, it can seem to let go and yet not really
Not if
hold
you're
on.
aware of it.
But how does the ego let go of itself?
The ego doesn't let go of itself.
It's the other self.
Yeah, the light causes it to leave. It cannot live when you're aware of it. It can't live in the light. Like when you go into a dark room and you turn the light on, the darkness fade away, right? You don't know about that?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
I'm kind of going I'm like a step ahead.
Well, that's how it is with the ego. When you become aware of one mind of God, when you become conscious, then the darkness starts to fade away. And that's the ego dying away. And it still come back and try to tempt you, but if you are aware, if you're conscious of it, it dies. It has no more power.
And at times
And
I've,
you find yourself doing what's right. You find
yeah.
yourself living this life.
I've had those experiences. They just don't seem to ever like catch a good grip for good. You know,
Don't make that
for-
determination.
It just seems to you
Don't
know,
make that
sometimes be there
determination.
and sometimes not.
Don't make that determination. You don't know that. That's your ego telling you that. And I hear that from a lot of folks. Well, I do it for a while, but it doesn't really catch on. That's your ego telling you that. A little bit of light is better than all these words you have in your head. That's another lie from the ego. You're not telling yourself that. Your ego is telling you that. Your ego is saying it's not catching on. You know, you were happy a few minutes ago, but you're not happy now, and you're still listening to the lie. Isn't that amazing? That's why I say there is no you. It's a battle between the light and the darkness, and you're the observer. You know, that's a very good point. A lot of people have that issue. Anybody ever felt that way? Well, I was on cloud 9 a few minutes ago.
Yeah.
If you could just even be aware of that and don't get into a dialogue about it, because a dialogue would bring on worry, a dialogue would tell you you're disconnected from God, you'll lose your way. But if you could just watch that and don't worry, you're on track. Absolutely on track. I would get addressed this morning, and my ego caused me to think about someone who had been mean to me, and it said, you could do this to that person. And I started cracking up. I'm like, that is too funny. But it is constantly trying to tempt you back into it. But I am learning to become the observer of the not me, instead of this wordy thing. Anything that you associate with words like that is going to throw you off track. That is not God talking to you, and it's not you talking to you. It is the deceiver. And you just have to, so you may fall down for a minute. That's okay. Fall down, get back up again. But don't try to control it.
Yeah, I always get scared when that happens because I feel like it's, I don't know, like
No,
it
fall
happened
down.
because I'm evil or something.
That's what it's telling you. You got to realize there is a battle between the two. So it's going to tell you, you fell down because you're evil. Your prayers are not working. You know, this and that. If you believe the lie, you're gone. You are a goner. You got to recognize the two voices. God does not talk to you in your head in an audible voice.
That's right.
That's not God. And it's not you. Can you hear that?
Yes, sir.
All of your life, because of your resentment, you're reacting to everything and you're just suppressing it. And it just pile on, pile on, pile on. When you sit still and know God, now He is shining the light on all of this stuff that is causing you pain, all of the resentment, all the stuff that's been holding you back in life. He's now allowing you to see it so you can overcome it. So He will cause you to overcome it. But the problem is you're still listening to that voice that said, look at bad you. Look how awful you are. You have not changed. And you're still believing that lie rather than let it pass. Take the pain. It is better so you can overcome. Because the pain is just shining on your ego. It's just shining on your pride. It's shining on the thing that doesn't want to die. And it feels like you because you're so identified with it. Really, you are in a blessed mode when you see all this stuff about yourself that you've been holding down for so long. That's a blessing to see that. That's why I know I'm no darn good. Because I see all this stuff, I'm thinking, wow, this is a trip. So I see myself, but I'm not mad about it anymore. Let it hurt, but don't be mad about it, and you're then set free. You want it. That's the whole purpose of praying. So you ask God to let me see myself, right? Let me overcome, and He let you see it, and you get mad about it. If you don't see this stuff, you can never go free. So you're in the right place when you see it. And it's not you that's hurting, but it's this spirit, this ego spirit that's made a home inside of you that's hurting. Let yourself hurt. Stay with the prayer, let yourself hurt. You've been deceived. That's all it is. It's like the devil's like, see, I told you this is what you look like. I told you no darn good. I told you people thinking badly about you. And you start to believe the lie again, and that's where the problem is. Instead of just watching it and letting it pass. All right? I have a phone. Do we have a call?
Yes,
Okay.
we have a few calls from Robert from Indiana.
Okay.
The first is, where does the ego come from? And basically, when does it begin?
The ego it's kind of come way back from Adam and Eve, whole syndrome thing. But it basically starts when you're born in a family that's all messed up. The father's not there or angry, the mother's angry. And then they start to pressure the kids, and you start to resent your parents. And resentment is judging them, even as little kids. Because, for a while, kids say, I'm okay, mom or dad, fine, I'll let it go. But they keep pressing you until you start to resent them, and that's when you start to build the ego. It really starts there for the most part. We somewhat have it when we were born anyway, but it is given life in childhood when we resent our situation. But if you can learn to forgive, that's what causes you to overcome it. That's why you see kids at first they seem to be really nice and sweet and forgiving, and then by the time they're 10 years old, you start to see something else. And by the time they're 12 or 13, you've lost them. Because that ego is building right then, because now they're resenting and judging everything around them as well. And resentment comes from hatred, from judging, from overreacting. That's where the ego comes from, Yeah, okay.
Question number 2, is this ego Satan's tool that God allows?
Yes. The ego is the nature of the devil, but we do need it for a while because with the ego, you're in a fallen state, which means that you're unhappy because you're now separated from God, right? And in that fallen state, you have a false love, an emotional love, and that emotional love brings us together. If you want to get married, if you didn't have that, because if you're totally at peace, you wouldn't want to get married. Well, why would you want to be married if you're already happy, Only unhappy people want to get married. And so you need that ego in order to bring yourself together as one, that fallen state. You also need it when you're young. It motivates you. It drives you for a career or get up and go to work and all that kind of stuff. But when you start to get old and you start to fade away is when you have to overcome it. When you've had all the children you need to have, when you're through with sex and no more Viagra, and all that, then you let the ego start to die. Because now you want to reconnect with your Heavenly Father. Sex is unimportant because you have children. You got your career, your life going well, so you don't need to be outwardly driven. You now can do what's right. So you return to the Father. So it is good for a while, and then you have to, that's why God said you have to be born again when we become of age. Did that make sense?
Yes.
That's it?
Yes.
Oh, thanks for that call. I appreciate it. Yes, ma'am. You had something you wanted to say a little earlier?
Oh, I was just gonna agree about saying that you have to, and I always say it, you have to constantly be focused on the word, because you will constantly fall out of that good state of being aware, or your awareness. We call it awareness. So when you'll constantly fall out of awareness, and then you'll be controlled by your anger and everything. Even when I'm listening to the Bible in my car, and somebody cuts me off, I'll curse. And I'm like, I'm listening to the Bible. And I'll just, but instead of me letting it beat me down and say, oh, look at you, see, I told you it was no good, I say, I'll get out of here. Fine, I'll get right back on course.
Yeah.
You know, and say, just be aware. See, there it is. See how sneaky? It's real sneaky.
It is.
You know, like she was making a comment. When she starts to meditate, she starts to think of all those things that causes her pain. And that's that sneaky little tricky ego saying, see, look at you. You're never going to get it together. You're never going to be right. You just have to say, listen, this is getting me right. And so, you know, just look at it and just push it to the side. You know, it's like, it can fall in every instance in your life. Like if I'm a constant person dealing with a weight issue. So I can be doing good today and eat salad and all of that, and then 5 minutes from now have a dessert and be like, see, you're no good. Yeah. And I'll just be like, I'm gonna enjoy my dessert and get over it. And so tomorrow or the next moment, I'll just go back into, you know, trying to do the right course.
Amen. And speaking of food, Martin bought a cherry pie. That was a cherry pie, right? Yeah. And just like the devil, he sat it out. And he was like, anybody can have some of this pie, right? And so I ate some pie and ice cream last night. And I woke up this morning, I had a little pudgy belly. And the devil's like, see, you did it again. I'm like, forget about this. That pie was good. I'm glad I ate it, and that was it. And if I have to work out a little harder, fine. But you have to watch how he speaks to you like that. You have to
Otherwise,
watch
you'll
it.
keep going. You'll have more and more pie.
That's right.
As opposed to saying, okay, you know, I did that. Now I can get back on course. It wants you to stay in that sickness, like, look at you, do it again.
As a matter of fact, there was one little piece left today on the stove this morning. It looked beautiful, red and shining. But I just looked at it and laughed and walked past. The way you get over this stuff is you have to forgive. You got to forgive. When you forgive others, then God will forgive you. You got to forgive. Just as you can't help yourself, other people cannot help themselves. So you got to get to know yourself so that you can forgive. And I'm telling you, when you understand that people cannot help themselves, your parents couldn't help themselves, your loved ones, whomever, your enemy, when you can see that, it will cause you to forgive. And once you forgive, you start to see, as you just said, you see a bunch of egos running around. And you will not take it personally. But you got to forgive. I have a CD that called Be Still and Know. And some people have mentioned that. It's a prayer. And what it would do is calm you down so that the truth can catch up with you. Of yourself, you could do nothing. All of this hooping and hollering and praying and carrying on has done you no good because it's all in vain. You know not what to ask for. You don't know your own needs. God will do it for you. So he said, go into your prayer closet, be still, and know him. So I encourage you to order a copy of Be Still and Know. We have other stuff on the website there. In our bookstore, we have books, 7 Guaranteed Steps to Spiritual, Family, and Financial Success. Whole lot of stuff there. Also, many people ask, well, what do I do with my tithe and offering now that I'm watching the part of the bond service? Send it to bond. We need your support. We need to buy other cameras and things like that. So a lot of people want to see the audience. And we need cameras to do that. So we need your support. You can send that to bond. We do counseling by phone. If you need counseling, you don't live in the Los Angeles area, you can call up and we provide one-on-one and family counseling by telephone. You can email us, all kind of good stuff. Tune into the radio show Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We deal with these issues as well, the call-in show. So go to bondinfo.org, bondinfo.org, and put your name in town. Go there for all your stuff. If you want to email us, it's church@bondinfo.org, church@bondinfo.org, and put your name in town on there, all right? But life is easy when you let go. You got to accept that you're no good. There's nothing wrong with accepting you're no good. Then you can become of good. But as long as you're unwilling to accept that you're no good, you're never going to find goodness. And it's not us, but the Christ that's in us. The assignment for next week. Anybody listening? Yeah, put it in your phone, whatever. I thought that I was going to talk about Jesus today and who he is. How many of you know Jesus? Nobody raising their hand. You're scared now, huh? Only a favor.
I'm raising my hand.
2 people know. Ours it look like she want to raise it. She's raising it like this. So nobody else in this room know Jesus. Have you ever heard about him? Yes. But you don't know him. Why do you say you don't know Jesus? You've been talking about him for a long time. You.
Not really.
Oh, you never talked about Jesus?
Rarely.
Rarely?
Yes.
Okay.
But,
Okay. Here's your assignment for the week. I want you to come back next Sunday and tell me who Jesus is. I want you to find out who is Jesus. There's a lot of talk about this man called Jesus. All right? And next week I want to know who he is. I thought I was going to talk about that today, but it went off in a different direction. All right? What is the assignment for next week?
Who Jesus is?
Find out
Who is Jesus? Richard, you don't know who Jesus is either? Richard,
Oh, me? Yeah, I just didn't
you know who Jesus is?
No, I didn't know him that well.
You don't know him. Oh. Well, next week, I want to know who is Jesus. This man that we've been talking about for over 200 years or so, right?
Yeah.
We need to know who he is next week. So when I come back, audience, I want to know from you who is Jesus as well. All right, we're going to talk about it on the radio show this week too. So if you want to get a hint, you can tune into the radio show and find out who he is. It's important that you know him. It is very important that you know him. Again, thank you for tuning in. Visit my website at bondinfo.org. If you're not getting the radio show in your neighborhood by way of radio, go to the website and you can listen to it live on the internet, anywhere in the world. All right? I appreciate you guys. It was fun after all. Thank you for having a little input. All right? And thank you for tuning in. God bless you. See you next week. Thank you, guys.